former President Kgalema Motlanthe has invited high-profile guests to discuss the issue of migration on the continent at the JSE in Sandton. Deputy President Mashatile is expected to be in attendance. For the very latest on that, let's go to SABC News Specialist Correspondent Sophie Mokoena. A very good morning to you, Sophie. Very important subject when we talk migration, very sticky one in the country that has been highly contentious, divided a lot of citizens. What are we expecting today at this specific event?
Well, Mfundo, you are correct. The issue of migration, quite a thorny one. As you know, currently all eyes are on South Africa after those protests that were organized by March and March, talking about the issue of illegal migration and undocumented foreign nationals. But unfortunately, that has become a blight to the image of the country, because when you are outside, you are not in South Africa, you might get a different picture in terms of what has been happening as it relates to misinformation and disinformation. We know that the countries that have been very vocal about this issue, it is Nigeria and Ghana, particularly Ghana. We know that yesterday the president of Ghana met with the AU Commission chair and they spoke about this issue. But 2 days ago, the Minister of International Relations, Minister Ronald Lamola, as an envoy of President Cyril Ramaphosa, went to Accra, Ghana, where he had talks with the president of that country, John Mahama, in Ghana. Let me engage the minister about the outcome of that meeting and the thorny issue of this matter now going to the AU. Minister, thank you so much for your time. Let's start about your visit to Ghana as an envoy of President Ramaphosa. What came out of that meeting during the discussion with the president of Ghana, John Mahama?
Yeah, thank you very much, Sophie. The first key issue for the meeting was that this matter should not affect South Africa-Ghana bilateral relations that has been enduring. Two very good, friendly countries that are now engaged in this very robust engagement matter that is very necessary for the African continent to engage on the migration issue. So we have agreed with Ghana and President Mahama in particular that this matter will not impact South Africa-Ghana binational relations, and that engagement in relations to the bilateral relations will continue. But the thorny issue of migration, they are insisting to take it through the processes of the AU. And as South Africa, we welcome it to be discussed at some stage at the highest level of the African Union, because it will deal with the pull and push factors, the root causes of migration, which impacts all African countries. And as you are aware, South Africa being one of the highest receiving countries in the continent, #1, followed by Egypt and Ivory Coast. So this is an issue that will have to be discussed, issues of economic growth, job creation across the continent. But the other key issue that we agreed on with President Mahama is that all countries enforce their immigration laws, including Ghana, that migration must be orderly, must be regular, and must be within the law. So the main concern he raised, and as you will have seen from the engagement with the chairperson of the African Union, which I also met a month ago, is that they are concerned about private citizens enforcing the law, that it is now left to ordinary people. And we have said, no, that is not South African law. In terms of South African law, this is the role of the state. And that's why you will have seen in various parts of the country where police have effected arrest on those who claim impersonating police officers. In Limpopo, about 5 people, in the Eastern Cape, 69 in Jeffreys Bay, and also in many parts in Mpumalanga. So there is action that the police is taking against those that believe they can enforce the law. And on that point, we all agree there should be no violence against anyone.
Listening to President Mahama, he has accepted that the relations between the two countries will not be affected. South Africa hosted the conference of the UN on racism and all forms of intolerance, including xenophobia. That was a clear statement that the country is committed to respecting international law and rights of individuals in the country. But we see also there's an initiative by citizens of Ghana to take this matter to the ICC. We know that International Criminal Court deals with individuals, not states. But what is your response?
Yeah, firstly, we remain the pen holder of the resolution against racism related in Geneva as South Africa. So that remains a key responsibility that we hold on behalf of the world. With regards to the case that has been taken to the ICC, it lacks the jurisdiction because it does not meet the requirements of the principle of complementarity, that the domestic courts must be the first call. And in this regard, our courts are very competent, independent. This has also been shown that there is not an action of the state in support of vigilante group or unlawfulness. This has just been individuals who have taken the law into their own hands, but also in terms of the South African law, this is illegal. And that's why the police are acting on it. And as you are aware, we also have the Prevention of Racism Act that also make hate speech a crime. So we've got various domestic laws that outlaws this kind of conduct. But we also have the Equality Court. So we have got enough platform. So our response to that is that it is a premature, is not ripe for this kind of actions because our domestic capabilities, our independent judiciary, is able to handle these matters in the domestic affairs in the domestic courts of South Africa.
Thank you so much, Minister, for your time. I know you have a busy day. You are hosting your German counterpart later today.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. And we're looking forward to that engagement further to strengthen South Africa-German binational relations. Thank you.
Thank you. As you heard Minister Lamola talking about his engagement with the President of Ghana, but secondly, responding to reports that some individuals in Ghana have taken this matter to the International Criminal Court at The Hague in Netherlands. But as I pointed out, you can only take a matter to the International Criminal Court as it relates to individuals that you think they have committed those crimes against humanity. You can't take a state or a government. State, you can take a state to the International Court of Justice, and it must be another state complaining. But lastly, we will get more later today. Among people who will be speaking here, it is the former Minister of Finance, Mcebisi Jonas, the former Minister Nene, also here. And I think it will revolve around the impact on the economy of South Africa when brand South Africa is affected. We'll bring you those conversations later